Welcome to a spectacular panoramic view here in Norway. Thomas with Autogefuehl and the Audi A8 Facelift. Let's take a look at all the changes. Really impressive to have the car right here, and let's take a look at that massive front grille that has been updated. This is now the base A8, so to speak, and you have this L form, these fins in the front grille. Overall, they want to have the car standing more upright, more present, but not that sporty. Actually, they said, yeah, maybe it was a little bit too sporty. What's your take on that? And here you can also see that the lamps, they now have the daytime running light in the top part here, and they also have this new cut in. However, if you want it sportier looking again, you can also go for the S line. This one then has a different front grille, has a more wider stance, also a black frame around, and you can top it up even with some black Audi rings and black mirror caps if you go for this dark package. Here, what we have here, however, is rather the more elegant design that again stresses the upright side of the vehicle, also with new accentuations right here. The headlamp technology, by the way, it starts with LED as base, then optional matrix LED. In some markets like Germany, it's already standard with the matrix LED, and then optional, the matrix LED with a digital matrix function. There are some micro mirrors, and then you also can have projections on the road, like light field on the motorway that signals your line, but it doesn't have to do anything with the high beam range or something. And we also have a nighttime driving part in our review here today. And we also take this one here to the spectacular Atlantic Ocean Road. And no, I never wanted to be a weather reporter. And yes, James Bond was also recently here. And the lighting features are really super spectacular. That's why I took some night shots for you. For example, with the turning indicators, both in the front and in the rear. And also a very interesting welcoming or goodbye light show. You get that one with the matrix LED special form then. And even more so if you have projections then when opening or closing the vehicle, depending on if it's a wall or maybe it's on the ground. And you can even pick different schemes for that. One of my favorite features are these small Audi rings in here, and even more so better visible at night, that they're really also illuminated. The A8 features a standard air suspension, also some special features. For example, like this, you see that the car is pumped up. They can easier have an access into it without crouching down. Yeah, it's a comfort function. And when I close the door, you can see that the car automatically raises down again. Let's see. There we go. You can see, slowly. Here we go. Then that takes some time, but when I open the door again, that goes quite quickly. See here, really spectacular indeed. Quite cool feature, isn't it? This is, by the way, also used in case of a crash, in case of a side impact. Then the car is also detecting the oncoming crash and is going up to protect inside, that you face a harder area of the chassis. And yeah, the question is, what about, the one that is crashing into you? Not so sure if it's so good for that one. The color here for today, by the way, is called Manhattan Grey, and it's a very elegant metallic color. We also have in that S-Line vehicle the Daytona Grey matte. Even more spectacular, of course, because of that matte effect. This matte Daytona Grey is also a completely new color for the vehicle. Here we have 20-inch wheels today, overall 18 to maximum of 21-inch wheels for summer tires. We have winter tires here today, that's why 20-inch is the maximum. And next to the base air suspension, you can also opt for this predictive air suspension that is then foreseeing what's coming on the road, lifting the car up 5 centimeters or 2 inches in front of a speed bump. And then basically the speed bump is being sucked in by the suspension. The car stays upright, you stay upright, just the suspension moves underneath you. Really cool effect. In the rear, you also can get a rear axle steering. That would be standard for the S8. That means that the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction than the front wheels, faking a shorter wheelbase, so to speak. And talking about wheelbase, this is the A8 L. Worldwide the most sold model. So yeah, more than 3/4 of all A8 are sold with long wheelbase. That means 5 meters 30 or 209 inches. The short wheelbase version, which is the bestseller in Germany, for example, is then a little bit shorter. It's really, you know, this area that you have a little bit more legroom in the rear. But in the US, for example, in Canada, also in China, just the long wheelbase versions are being sold. Ooh, in the rear we have new OLEDs, organic LED. No, they're not alive, but well, are they alive? A little bit, right? Here, so you see this proximity sensor. So when I go away and then I approach again, or maybe if I would be a vehicle like this, you see here how the middle part is filled out. And this kind of starts this communication, the car with the outside world. You know, on the long run, this will be a thing in the automotive industry, that via lighting and so on, cars communicate with each other or maybe communicate with pedestrians and so on. Very interesting feature indeed. And also this, you know, this signature here on the inside, depending on which driving mode you are in, it also switches. For example, in the dynamic mode, it looks different. And the organic LED are indeed also standard, so you do not need the matrix LED to have that one. Really interesting. And once again, in the dark, it looks even cooler, also with the turning indicators, for example. And also, once again, when you have that light show, even more impressive when it's really, really dark. But very cool here in the rear, A8L. And then this the 60 TFSI. This naming is always a little bit complicated. Soon talking more about the engines. And the quattro all-wheel drive means it's still here the real one, the permanent all-wheel drive. 40-60 base setup, so you always have a rear wheel bias. In the lower part, gladly, the Autogefuehl fake exhaust police has no job here today, no alert, because this is a nice graphic here. It looks, once again, a little bit different in that S-line vehicle we have for you today, but no fake exhaust. The real exhausts are on the, on the lower part of the vehicle, but this way, why not? What do you think about the redesign here of the A8? Tell me in the comments. And now let's move on to the engines. As for engines, today we have the 4-liter V8. And when you drive it in a very economic way, you can score some 10 liters or 100 kilometers, 23 mpg US, 28 mpg UK. This one here with 460 horsepower and around 4.5 seconds in the acceleration figure. In the S8, this same engine is then spec'd with 571 horsepower and 3.8 seconds in the acceleration. Other than that, the worldwide most important engine is the 3-liter V6 turbo petrol engine. And then there's also a 3-liter TDI, which is more, prominent in Europe and especially in Germany. Of course, this is changing bit by bit because the plug-in hybrid version of the 3-liter V6 petrol engine is gaining more importance. This is the car key, still the classic version, but I really like it. And then when I open the door, you see it has this function again with raising it up. I showed you earlier. Ooh, it's a pretty cool feature, right? And then you have two different door closing things I need to show you. First of all, what about door closing sound? Really solid, awesome. But in that way here, when you have that option, of course you would use the soft close mechanism. So like this, and then very gently. Magic. One more time, a little bit closer maybe here. It's both for the rear and the front doors. Here, look at that. There we go. And then the interior itself, you can see here, nice Alcantara inserts. They are also new. And then you have here a matte wood insert. I would definitely pick this one here. Feels really nicely and looks also very warm and cozy. For small bottles, there's some space here in the inside of the doors. And then that steering wheel here with these gaps right there. And they explicitly sticked here with the turning wheels on the steering wheel, also for the volume. They watched Autogefuehl, read our comments, and they saw you do not like #capacitive BS. So no capacitive buttons here for that A8 facelift. They really intentionally stick with that, and I think that's a great decision. Then the digital instruments, Audi Virtual Cockpit, here with the map mounted at the moment. Soon also more details to that. And then the seats, the different seats available. These are the most comfortable ones actually from the seat form. They are sportier ones which have also more bolstering at the side. And see also with some perforation. Sadly, animal skin only. They did not bring any animal skin alternative here in that facelift. That's really a let off. And BMW showed it with the 5 Series facelift, for example, that you can have a great high-grade leatherette also for luxury class cars. And Audi is going in the direction. It's inevitable that they also skip the animal skin. That's basically decided in all the automotive industry. but here in this segment, they are actually late to the party indeed. However, the seat form is really comfortable, super relaxing, and here also a lot of headroom left with 1.86 m or 6'1". It's also very beautifully done here with the bright Alcantara ceiling. This brings so much coziness in the vehicle. And since it's a little bit dark today here, well, winter in Norway, and that's how it is. You guys know it, all our friends from Scandinavia. Here also with a nice headliner ambient lighting, really love that. Of course, I've set it to Thomas Blue. Different colors are available. When you look at the whole ambient lighting at night, it is even more impressive. That's why I always try to bring as many night shots as possible, you know, when we have the chance to do that. You can also get a sportier steering wheel here, by the way, in the S-Line, then with some perforations at the side. And also in the S-Line here with carbon fiber inserts, also available. These are the sportier seats as stamping and also with some more side bolstering, shoulder area and also at the side. Interior overview, beautiful clean lines, more Bauhaus style, German style, here with this, you know, matte aluminum style. A lot of black panel lacquer, that's not so much to my liking actually. Interesting that these two screens, 10.1 and 8.6 inch, they play together somewhat. For example, when you are in the GPS mode and then you have the GPS search, then you have the keypad here in the lower area, the keyboard. And when you're in the normal home menu, then this is a temperature control either here with sliding or then with pressing. And for a touchscreen temperature solution, it's the best one that is available. I still prefer manual knobs. For example, the volume knob is still manual or for the passenger. But for this, you know, this solution, it's fairly easy how you can also control the bend strength, for example. And when you, by the way, use a two-zone AC and it's changed here, you have this, you know, secret finger gesture like this. Seen that here? So this is a different temperature, and then I kind of like swipe it in like this, and then the temperature is synced again on the other side. Then automatic shifting like this, easy solution. Here the adaptive cup holders, good quality, extreme great build quality everywhere you can see. This is then here, you know, for the armrest. You can also put it, you know, up like this, or if you want to have it fixed, then you have to hit this, you know, this button on the back side, and then you can slide it up like this. Then it's high and it's also fixed, and then you can also open it. And then there's inductive charging pad, but you have to put it like here, and also the cable connection 2 times USB-C now. And indeed, these are my favorite virtual instruments because you can change the view to a more classic one, have the map a little bit bigger like this, and you can also change the middle content. Sadly, it's not yet possible to have the CarPlay you know, map or something in the middle part there. And this is also the night view. I'll also show you more of that in our nighttime driving part. And the head-up display is really clear to read, always a great option, also with some GPS directions. Then here in the infotainment system, this is really interesting. You have the drive select. There, for example, you can see that also when you are in the dynamic mode, the air suspension lowers. And also at a certain speed, it goes down, for example. And in the auto mode, it really adjusts depending on the driving situation. The overview menu here is actually quite simple and easy. I really like this version of the infotainment system. And the GPS map here, you can also have the satellite view. You can also deactivate it if you think it's a better overview. Beautiful Norway here, you know, close to the coastal line as well. Here, well, what is not coastline in Norway? And then here, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto integration looks like this. And we also have the optional sound system in here. Bang & Olufsen, and it's really great sound here. Wow, great surround sound, and there are interesting settings here. Let's take a look at that. So when we go to settings and then sound, and here the B&O sound settings, and in this case I rather tend to, you know, lower the bass maybe a little bit, but here it's actually cool to put bass and subwoofer a little bit higher, because at the same time you can have the surround level to maximum and 3D sound to high. And then it's really like great surround sound all around, but it sounds less bass heavy then. So I found the best setting is really put 3D sound and surround level all the way up, and then also increase a little bit the bass in the subwoofer, and overall this is then you know, really like club atmosphere. Welcome to this rear executive seating, really a cool position to have here. And since this is the A8 L, or would be the standard one for our guys in the US and so on, you have more legroom in the rear, of course, you know, tons of legroom. There are these nice footrests here. There you can just have a more relaxing position for your feet. they are indeed just, you know, like loosely adjustable like this, but you can also just put them out, no problem. And here you also can have this function that you, you know, press this button, but you have to press and hold it. And then you see here my seat goes a little bit forward, also more in the back with the backrest, and then the co-driver seat goes forward. These screens here, oh, the cat caught a little bit of rain. These screens here are, by the way, also new, so new screens for the rear entertainment. Yeah, and then you can see here, meanwhile, the seat is going all the way forward like this. Also, the screen is adjusting then, that I have a proper angle. And then there is this calf rest. And yeah, recently I had an interesting comment. Someone saying like, "Oh, Thomas, I'm really happy that you take off your shoes before putting your feet on there, unlike some other car journalists who were raised by wild boars." Not saying who it was who was mentioned in the comment, but maybe you guys know who put that comment. Really interesting. So, yeah, that's really cool. And actually, you have a lot of space. And even here with 1m86 or 6'1", I can have a very relaxing position here. And last time, remember, I was in the S-Class, which on the one hand feels a little bit more comfortable from the seats themselves. But here, this lying position is, to me, even better in the A8 indeed. That's very interesting. And even more interesting is that this area where my feet are at the moment, it can be heated, and there's also a massage function for it. This is really interesting. You have this middle part here where you can then here adjust the back part of the seat, for example, or here slide it forward even more. And then when you go to seats here, you know, sometimes it takes the time, then you can, you know, whoa. Yeah, you always have to protect it against the fingerprints. You have here, for example, the seat heating. This is really cool. Here you can adjust the climate functions. And then back to seats here. Yes, please wait. Yeah, there we go. Seat adjustment, massage. Want to have massage. And then, for example, yeah, I love this wave massage because it really goes from the top part to the bottom and back again. You can have these different massage functions here, shoulder, activation, and so on. And now there's the trick. So if you're an A8 owner, I can explain to you how that works. Here, this is for your seat, or for my seat I'm sitting at the moment. And then you have to click basically on the passenger seat, because in the passenger seat, you have here also turned forward. There is, you know, you can pick your shoe size. Yeah, of course, L, shoe size for me. And then you have this foot massage. It goes in wave or in circles, and you can start it. And it's really hard to pick it up on camera, but you know, this back part of the seat is now moving, and you can feel it that it's, you know, going underneath the seat. So now I'm holding this microfiber towel in front of the seat, because that way you can better see how the back part of the seat is moving when you look at that brighter structure. So again, it's really hard to pick it up on camera, but maybe you can see that this microfiber towel is moving a little bit, because here that's yeah, that back part of the seat now. Here at the moment it's, you know, coming more towards this upper area, and then it's moving, for example, back here in this lower area, and this is now wider a little bit, and then here you can see it goes inward again, and so on. It's a really cool feature indeed, very exclusive. Here the controls, seat heating, seat cooling also works simultaneously when you're, for example, wet in winter times and you get in the vehicle and want to be dried and warmed at the same time. And then here, this is then the heating for the foot area. So indeed, now what I have now is a combination of a foot massage and a heating indeed of this area there where I have my feet. So this is really amazing. So my feet are warm now and are being massaged. Here, by the way, some more space underneath. Inductive charging pad for your smartphone. 2 USB-C chargers now. And then we have, well, there's no champagne box here today. This would be just like reaching through the trunk. So there's like, you know, this ski hatch basically. So then also with a nice wood cover right here. And you can also fold this whole thing up here. Then you have the cup holders here, and you have also, you know, the real power socket. Don't do that at home, kids. I was, you know, going a little bit too deep in there with my fingers. So, but this is also accessible when it's not folded up. The thing that is only accessible when this one here is folded up are the tables, and you can fold them out like this, and yeah, a little bit more towards me. And then you can also close this one again. And it also has this lip here, for example, for your laptop or something. You can also change it a little bit in the angle. Yeah, so you can actually work it quite well. Put the laptop right here, had the foot heating and massage. That's a really nice workstation here, isn't it? I'm gonna think about this. And by the way, if you move that seat back here in that normal position, it just looks cool when things are moving inside the vehicle. And this actually quite quickly, you know, comparing it to the S-Class, this one goes way faster. I have the impression. Here we go. Oh, need to secure this one so the seat can move further. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back in that normal position. What about that trunk area? Let's take a look. You know, this is a channel where we also measure the trunk, and this is here 1 meter in width or 40 inches. And you can see also my luggage. Yeah, these are my 2 Corona stickers. These means like for yesterday and for today, Corona test negative, by the way. Yeah, just some details here for that driving event. Yeah, this is my lunchbox. Yeah, and then the length is 1.20 meters or some, you know, like, yeah, that's 1.20 meters or some 46 inches. And you can see here I also have this ski hatch here. And yeah, has anyone tested that actually? Not sure. Because here when I use the ski hatch and load things through, you can easily go, you know, distance here 2 meters or 80 inches, the full stick, and you're not even through the front seat. So you can have some very long skiers, but nowadays most people use short skiers or like these Bigfoot skiers, so yeah, not really that necessary actually. So you can see very, very usable, and here the height, this is maybe also crucial, is about 50 centimeters or 20 inches. Welcome to Thomas's luxury driving lounge, or in this case, A8 L rally driving lounge, because we're here on this B road, a little bit of gravel road in Norway, and this is super spectacular because here the air suspension with all its comfort can play out its advantages, and this is a really uneven gravel road and it feels like nothing. It's super comfortable still, 20-inch wheels. And the cool thing about the A8 in general is it is a sporty vehicle. It is long, it is very luxurious, but it still feels sporty to drive. That's the cool thing about. And indeed, I prefer the A8 and the BMW 7 Series to drive myself over the Mercedes S-Class, because A8 and 7 Series are more fun to drive. The S-Class has this more like this ship-alike, you know, very soft air suspension setup. And here I think they really have found a great compromise. It does deliver you a great comfort, but it does deliver you sporty driving fun at the same time. Again, if you more want, you know, this more heavy, soft feeling, then the S-Class is something more for you. And what about when I put it in dynamic mode? And you remember 4.5 seconds is the acceleration figure here for this 4-liter V8. And now I accelerate out of this corner at this wet ground. We have the all-wheel drive, rear-wheel bias, 40-60 fashion. What will the car do? Let's see. Wow. Holy moly. Wow. I mean, great power definitely. But the thing is really, you know, wow. I mean, you could really feel that super traction. I mean, it's very slippery here on this asphalt. But then with the all-wheel drive, I mean, 460 horsepower, so much power at the same time, no wheel span at all, and you could see the steering wheel was perfectly stable and it was really flooring it out. So this is really the thing about this classic all-wheel drive. It can bring the power to the ground so well. And of course, this then, you know, you might not hammer the throttle all the way through when it's like snowy or icy or something. Just be gentle with the throttle, but it shows how well it also performs on slippery surfaces. So I always tend to, you know, that's why I also drive really fast in our tests on the German Autobahn, for example, when we're allowed to, because, you know, these extreme tests, so to speak, they show then how the car performs at these, you know, extraordinary levels, so to speak, you know. And in general, this feeling here is, I can actually say, is one of the best cars to drive at all, you know, from the driving feeling. So I also experienced that in the Audi S8. There we have a special German Autobahn driving part where I could also floor it out. It's a very impressive episode as well. You should tune into that at a later stage. There you can see more about the high-speed driving. It is such a flawless driving experience. So I think what the drive concerns, flawless is really the thing. We can go back to the auto mode, then we have even more comfort, and from the assistant systems there's a nice blind spot monitor integrated in the side mirror, adaptive cruise control, adapts the speed, and then also holds the car in a lane. Here at the moment it's a little bit tricky because it's not a motorway, and there's the car is a little bit irritated, like where are the side lines, So this is then not the ideal solution for that, but on the motorway the system is again working very, very well. On the motorway, that's also where it's reserved for. You also have these digital mirror functions where you have like a light carpet in front of you signaling like that's your lane. But I think the usage of this system is somewhat limited, so you don't really need that option actually. And now we're driving one of the most scenic roads in the world, the Atlantis Vein, the Atlantic Ocean Road or Atlantic Highway, up here at the Norwegian Atlantic coast. And today is really harsh weather, a lot of wind, and even more spectacular. And thanks to my cameraman today, it's really tough when filming in this weather on the outside. Wow, and I mean, a lot of small bridges here. It's not too long, this road overall, but here when it's so harsh and windy on the outside and the salt water is going all over the road in some places, this can really happen here. And you here in this warm and cozy cabin, everything is soft and relaxed and comfortable. This is really something, and also looking here at the digital instruments and seeing this road that really goes, it's even in the dark, in this dark or night mode, because it's so dark on the outside that the light sensor catches it and makes it actually darker. Really, really interesting. Having here the air suspension in the auto mode, and once again, really flying on that road, super cool. Steering, by the way, is super precise. Yes, it's comfortable and it's easy to steer. Yet again, there's no dead zone area, and you can also steer it in a very sporty way. And the bridge that is coming ahead there, this is one of the most spectacular ones, and you also see that the water is about to spill over the road here. So I left some space to the car in front of us now, that you can see the road very, very well. There are different viewpoints here also. You can park at the side of the road and then take a stroll around. Best, of course, in good weather, but the thing is, when you have such a harsh weather, this bridge is really insane. Look at that. You're literally driving up to the sky, and left and right, there's just the ocean. Wow, really cool thing to enjoy. And here, having that long wheelbase, it also brings more, even more calmness to the whole driving experience. So, and it doesn't feel less agile than the short wheelbase version, because of the rear axis steering, and especially when we're here at slower speeds, the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction, and that kind of fakes a shorter wheelbase. And this is really easy to ease the car around then. Of course, the short wheelbase version will be a little bit more agile, but for example, when I'm steering here, look at that 90-degree corner, 90-degree turn of the steering. That's really easy to do. And for example, when I'm easing this car here around in that parking lot, you can see about the turning circle. And here, now I'm turning all the way in. Rear wheels also go around, and you can see here, although this is a huge vehicle, I could easily do this 180 turn here. Well, in the middle of the way, I changed positions, because it wouldn't be a true luxury sedan review if I wouldn't take off my shoes, be in the back seat, and are being driven. So, and now I mount the camera in a way that it should fit, that it actually, the seat passes the camera, including the microphone receiver mount. That's always, yeah, yes, works exactly. This is really spectacular to see. I already prepared the seat control here. This is so cool to have it while driving. Wow, and I mean, oh my socks should be, yeah, properly. Whoa, yeah, this is such an amazing atmosphere here. And now I also put on the seat massage once again. Yes, my favorite wave massage, of course. And then, yeah, meanwhile I get some practice to pick the other seat in the front then big shoe size, wave massage also for my feet. Yeah, massage for my feet is starting, and then I also want to have the feet heating. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to find. There it is. There it is. So now seat heating and feet heating. That's cool, right? And I think I could drive like this all day probably. Usually I always prefer to drive a car myself because I'm a car driver, I'm a car enthusiast just like you, and I want to drive the cars. And this is really one of the very, very rare cases where I would say I would really also enjoy being driven for a longer period of time. I mean, really being here all the way, stretch and relax, foot massage, back massage, heated back part of the seat, and then the beautiful landscape here on the outside. Wow, the water is really high today. So last time I was here, there's also another video from the VW Touareg PHEV where we also drove this road here, also with some great drone shots. Some of them I reused today as well. Wow, I mean, the water is so high that looks so amazing. And indeed, also in the rear, the comfort is superb, also from the suspension. Sometimes you have vehicles which have more comfort near the front axle. Here also you feel that this air suspension comfort also accounts for the rear axle. So everything is evened out very, very well. This is then the big difference, when you're driving in the front yourself. The difference between A8 and A6 is not that extremely huge. You can also get the A6 with an air suspension, and it's really, really... Maybe we just turn around and drive the same road again. So, James? Yeah, okay. Yeah, James is all right with that. He's not really called James. But did I tell you that one funny story? There was one event a couple of days back, and a couple of years ago, actually. Yeah, years and days, whatever. My brain is also, meanwhile, I'm getting old. So there was this event where I was being shuttled and I was getting into the vehicle, and I just said like, hey James, how are you? Well, thank you, James. And then he was turning around and was like, how do you know my name? He just happened to be called James, just by instance. Yeah, and then we start this discussion here on Autogefuehl, like, in which country how is a chauffeur called in your country, And then the Korean viewer said, they're called that way, or the French viewer said, like, was it Jacques? I think in French. So all the countries was writing like, this is how a chauffeur is typically called in our country, but James is probably the typical chauffeur name, right? So every James watching here, or Jims or Jimmys, greetings to all you guys. And now back again in the Atlantic Ocean Road. It's really a short route, but it's so beautiful and so great to enjoy here. Yeah, I can just say, sometimes I was thinking like, yeah, the S-Class is better in the rear chauffeur comfort, because the seats are maybe a little bit more plush and so on. And that might be the case, but this leg extension, I feel that it's somehow better done here in the A8. When you scroll back to our S-Class reviews, also with the long wheelbase, or even the Maybach version, the feet solution here, or the foot solution, I don't know if it's singular or plural in that case, is to me really, really well done. That's the thing. It's really too bad that Audi did not offer any animal skin alternative here for that vehicle. Otherwise, I mean, I have so much fun driving this vehicle here. Yeah, maybe I would go for one if there would be an animal skin alternative. But yo, Audi guys, you're listening to this? Change it. At least for the next generation. I'm holding you accountable. Yeah, I will enjoy my time here, definitely. Really great atmosphere, great chauffeur ride. But what's still missing is our nighttime driving experience, which will also be amazing. So welcome to this night driving part. I have activated the high beam here with the matrix LED with the micro mirror option, this digital light. And you see here that left and right of the road, the high beam is active. This, this forest, left and right of the road, let's call it that way, is totally illuminated. You can see it right there. It's almost as it would be day. But the car in front of us, this small truck, now also cars facing us, here is not blinded. Now it's building up again. This is really interesting. So you see the high beam really belongs to the car in front of us. It's left and right is illuminated, but the car itself is not illuminated, and so they are not blinded. And once again, I think there should be the next car facing us. You see these reflections from the poles on the left side maybe as well. And then they will be gone when the next car is coming, in the opposite direction. This is really, really impressive. So you can very well see already from the normal light. And then when the high beam is active, of course, even more so then, when the high beam is active, then this effect of the digital light is playing the major role actually, and even more so of course when you're just alone on the road. And then you also have this night driving assistant. I can activate it here in the digital instruments, and when there would be, for example, also animals or people running across the street, there would be an additional warning, and I can also see them a little bit better there. There, you've maybe seen it now. The light was dimmed, and then it was built up again at the left side. I hope you could pick that out on camera. Sometimes it's really hard to film that actually. It also goes quite quickly. There again. And they're also obviously not complaining. And I mean, I have really big lighting power here. So there's these night vision assistants. Not sure, maybe one of you guys use that in an emergency situation or so, then really feel free to share your experience. I have not had an emergency situation with a night driving assistant yet, from my experience. So I'm also not quite sure if it's that useful, but we did get some feedback before that it was quite helpful to a lot of people. So again, when you have experience yourself of that, please share them in the comments. It's a pleasure to drive this one here at night, especially because of the ambient lighting. Of course, I have set it to Thomas Blue. Yeah, that's of course my signature. And see here the light all around that vehicle, really cool. What a great night riding atmosphere. And once again, this soft air suspension, but you can still, there you see it, that the light which is building up, among those trees, also quite high actually. But then again, the car in front of us is not blinded. It's really good to see it here, actually at the moment. Yeah, back to the suspension. So it always gives you this really soft experience. At the same time, the car feels still sporty. That's a really cool thing to have. And then when you also have that rear axis steering, told you earlier, even more agile. And then this predictive function. Well, at the moment there are no speed bumps here, but it's really so funny when you have a speed bump and the speed bump is really sucked up by the suspension and the car is going straight. It is actually really interesting to just watch what the lights are doing. Can it be maybe also irritating, or is it maybe catching your attention? Here you can really see how the light is following the car basically, but just next to it, So that's really interesting. You activate or deactivate this auto function, by the way, by pressing the stall column forward once. And here now, once again, right and left, high illumination, but not in the center of the vehicle. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really unpleasant here outside at the moment where we're driving up in Norway. I mean, 10 degrees Celsius. That's also the same like in Germany. So at this stage here, as unpleasant as in Germany at this time of the year. Yeah, our viewers from Norway would probably say like, hey, that's summer temperatures to us. Yeah, but you did have some great summers, right, recently. So maybe that has also changed for you then in this case. But it gives you here this very calm and relaxing feeling, and you just think like you could really ride all night and just stay super, super relaxed. That's and then maybe like, you know, activate seat massage and play your favorite seat massage stretch maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea, right? Stretch, or maybe I like the waves, definitely. The waves are, you know, waves are always great and high intensity, and yeah, hit your favorite music station and so on, and then enjoy your drive. Here you can see the difference, by the way, when there's no one in front of us. You see that here? High beam versus no high beam. Whoa. Yeah, pretty impressive indeed. Here one more time. Whoa. That really lights up the whole environment here. Wow. Look at that. Here again, difference. See nothing. See everything. Oh, that small build-up. Let's see it once again. There we go. See that build-up here? Well, wipers once again. A little bit off-road experience here as well. Here. There we go. Whoa. That build-up is really a great show, and wow. Yeah, I mean, these headlamps are super expensive indeed. If you have the micro mirror option or not, that is not the most crucial thing. The high beam will be just the same, the micro mirror just for extensive function. So that is not the, you know, the crucial thing, but having the matrix LED for night rides, that's definitely so cool to have. Yeah, getting the full potential out of it at this moment. Of course, you should also check out the BMW 7 Series review and the new Mercedes S-Class to compare this right here. One more time here. Light it up.